Hello and welcome to PA Academy. And in this part 2 of the video, if you mix the part 1, kindly check the video description. You'll find a link to the part 1 of this video. So in this part 2, we are going to be looking at how to solve a quadratic equation using factorization method. So I say solving quadratic equation using factorization method. So factorization method, like I said earlier in the part 1, is one of the 4 different ways of solving quadratic equation. So these are the examples I'm going to be using to explain factorization method of solving quadratic equation. So the example 1 says, x squared plus 5x plus 6 is equals to 0. So now to solve this equation, basically what we are looking for is what value of x will make this equation equals to 0. That means now this is x, we are looking for the value of x, whereby when we insert it back into this equation, it will give us 0. So basically that is what quadratic equation is all about. So now using factorization method, this is how it works. Now we have x squared. This x squared, let's just write 1 before it. Let's have 1 before it so that you don't get confused. So let me rewrite it as 1x squared plus 5x plus 6 is equals to 0. 1x squared, you can still write it as just x squared. So if you are factorizing, you pick the last number here, which is 6, and the last one, which is 1x squared. So here we have 6, and here we have 1x squared. Now you multiply both of them. That will give us 6x squared. Now, because we want to factorize, after multiplying the last one and the first one, now not this one with just x. So after multiplying it, that you get your 6x squared. Now you look for two numbers, whereby when you multiply the two numbers, you get 6x squared. And if you should add those two numbers, you get 5x. Let me come again. Two numbers whereby when you multiply it, it will give you 6x squared, and when you add it, it will give you 5x. So those are the two numbers that we are going to look for. Once we get it, we are going to replace that number with 5x. So now let's look at it. So we multiply it, we've gotten 6x squared. So what are the two numbers that we can use? So let's see. So let's see if we have 1x and 6x as an example. That will not, if you multiply it, 1x plus 6x squared, that will give us 6x squared. So we have plus 1x and plus 6x. But by the time we had it, that is, if we had 1x plus 6x, it will give us 7x. So that means we can't use this because it's not giving us 5x. But let's look at this. What if we use 2x plus 2x and then plus 3x? Now, if you use plus 2x and then plus 3x, now 2x times 3x will give us 6x squared. Now, if we decide to add it, that's 2x plus 3x, that will give us 5x. So you can see this is what we need to replace it with 5x. Because by the time we multiply 2x multiply by 3x, we are going to get 6x squared. By the time we had 2x plus 3x, that will give us 5x. So now that we've gotten the value, we are going to substitute it with 5. So we'll write our equation as 1x squared plus 2x plus 3x plus 6 is equals to 0. Don't forget, this is factorization method. So now we pick it in 2. Put this in brackets and you put this in brackets. So now at this stage, you pick the first one in the bracket. You look for the common terms that you can bring out from 1x squared and 2x. And that is x. X is common to both of them. So once you bring out the x, so 1x squared over x, that would give us x. So you are going to divide this with what we have outside. Then, so 2x rather divided by x, we'll be left with 2. So this is it here. If we have 2x over x, we are left with 2. So that's plus 2. You close the bracket. You go to the second bracket. You look at what can we have what do they have in common? So right here, if you look at it, is 3. So plus 3. Because 3 can divide this, it can also divide this. So then we open a bracket. So 3x squared divided by 3 will be left with x. Then plus 6 divided by 3 will be left with plus 2. So we close the brackets and let's put equals to 0. Now if you examine this at this junction, you see that what we have in brackets here is similar to what we have here. So that's just to let you know that you are correct. So at any point in time where you have what you have in this bracket is different from what you have in the second bracket, then that means there is a mistake somewhere. Probably what you replaced with the middle value here is not correct. So now we bring those that the ones that are outside of the bracket, we bring it together. So we are going to be having x plus 3, and we are going to be having here x plus 2 equals to 0. So now we are going to break it apart. So we are going to be having x plus 3 equals to 0, and x plus 2 is equals to 0. So now let's make the x the subject of the formula. So if 3 should come to the other side, we have our x is equals to minus 3. And if 2 should come to the other side, we have x is equals to minus 2. So that gives us the root of the equation. We call it the root of the equation, which is minus 3 and minus 2. So now if by the time we put this value back into the initial equation, it will give us 0. Just to check, the initial question was x squared plus 5x plus 6 equals to 0. So let's replace x with minus 3. So here if we have minus 3 squared plus 5 into bracket minus 3 plus 6 is equals to 0. So minus 3 times minus 3 is 9. 5 times minus 3 is minus 15. Plus 6 equals to 0. So 9 plus 6 is 15. Minus 15 will give us 0. So that just let us to know that the answer is correct. So if you try it with minus 2 also, you arrive at 0. So let's go to example number 2.